Hi, I'm Susan Clark. Learning any new software can be hard. I don't care how simple it's supposed to be. Each program has their own icons and their own menu commands. It's kind of like stepping into an elevator and the open door button is never in the same place. Sometimes all you need to get started is a quick overview with maybe a few navigation techniques and maybe a translation guide. Kind of like if I wanted to return to the main floor, do I push the 1 or the L for lobby or is it G for ground? Let's take a quick overview.
When you're ready to sign into your CRM, you'll just enter www.zoho.com/CRM in the address bar of any browser that you want to log in with. Once you've entered that, click the Sign In button in the upper right corner. You'll log in with the email address that you've used to sign up for Zoho, and then enter your password. Of course, you probably want to say, keep me signed in. It's okay to click that because it'll remember your email address, but it won't remember the password. Then click Sign In. When you come into the Zoho CRM app, the first page you will always see is the home page. If you see this Getting Started with Zoho CRM and don't show this screen anymore, this hyperlink in the upper right corner, feel free to click that link so that you get to the home page that is really intended for you to see. The first page was just some generic information about how to use Zoho, but we're going to cover that in this video. When we start, you'll notice that there is a menu bar at the top of the screen that covers all of the modules that are included in Zoho CRM. In this video, I want to focus on just a few of the modules that are available: the leads, accounts, contacts, and potentials, and discuss in particular what each of them means. Let's do a high-level overview right now. Leads represent people that you aren't sure if they'll actually be good contacts for you. They may be someone that you met at a networking event. It may be leads that you imported from a trade show. They're people that you haven't yet contacted and you don't know whether they're worth keeping into your database. In this case, I only have one lead in the database. We'll look at it in just a minute, but as you go through the sales process, you will want to say, yes, let's keep this lead, and I will promote it to accounts and contacts. Accounts, many times people will look at this and misunderstand and think that accounts means people that we do business with. I have an account at this store. In Zoho, account means company. When this lead is converted, the company will be Yellow Jersey Bikes, and it will create an account called Yellow Jersey Bikes. It doesn't mean that they've actually given us business yet. It just means that they are a company. If there are more than one contact that works at Yellow Jersey Bikes, I will see one account, and then I will see multiple contacts that belong to the same account. So when it's converted, Lance will also become a contact record. Potentials are the same thing as opportunities. So Lance, if I promote him, may have an opportunity where we can sell or work with him in some way, and potentials are a way that we keep track of those opportunities. So let's go back and look at each record. I'm going to start with leads and then click on my lead here, Lance Parks. When it opens, I can see some generic information about Lance. At the top of the screen, I see who is the current owner. I'm signed in as Bill Wonderful, and I can see his email and phone number and other pieces of information. This is called the business card area. As I scroll down the page, here is the information that we're capturing on Lance or any of our leads. What is title does he hold? Do I have a mobile or a fax number? Is there a website that I have? Lead sources, revenues. You can customize Zoho very easily to include whatever fields that you'd like to have on each of your leads and contacts. Notice, by the way, that the business card area up here is a repeated area. So I see his email here and I see it up here. I see the phone here and I see it here. If I enter a mobile phone here, as soon as I click Save, it automatically appears at the top. So this is just the most important information that you'd like to see. Notice how easy it was to make a change. Here is lead status here, and there's lead status up here. Notice when I point to each of the fields, the edit button pops up. So if I want to change the lead status for Lance, I can click the Edit button. And this is a drop-down field, so I can say I have attempted to contact him. I'll have to remind myself to contact him later. Notice that when I click Save, it will also appear down here. So again, it's just repeated information at the top of the screen. As you create other pieces of information, you can also include notes for this contact. In this case, I have 3 people that have actually been working with Lance. Bill, which is my login persona, met Lance at the Christmas party. Candace did some discussions with him on a facility in Texas, and UR did a credit check on him. I can add an additional note just by going to the bottom of the list and say, talked with him today, and things are moving along. Notice that I'm going to click Save. Notice how each of these have a bold area. That's called a title. I'm going to go back in and edit this by pointing to the note I want to edit and clicking the Edit button and adding a title. I can say, these are mostly just keywords that help you find more information about the note. When you're scrolling through a lot of notes, you want to be able to find things that just pop out at you. I could attach a file as well, but I'm just going to click Save. As you scroll down, you can also have other attachments. If you have the enterprise version, you can add products that the client is interested in. I see here's a planned activity that Candace has. She's going to call him regarding the new facility in Texas. It's scheduled for the end of the month. And I can see a closed activity or a history that just shows me that she did a credit check just a few days ago. So as I scroll down, I can see that I sent an email confirming lunch for tomorrow. If I just click on this email, it'll pop up and I can see the text of the email that was sent. And then if you decide you might want to look at using Zoho Campaigns, which is a similar product to something like Constant Contact or other mass email feature, I could see the results of any campaigns that I've sent to him. Did he click on it? Did he open it? Some things like that. And then of course there's the new social feature in Zoho that allows you to see if someone is talking about you on Twitter or some other social media. So notice it just kind of it's always doing a date up here at the upper right to see when was the last time this client was touched. When I'm finished, I can do I can go back and look up someone else, or I can make more changes. I can use this Edit button at the top left as well to edit all of the fields at once and make changes and save, or I can just edit one field at a time like you saw me do earlier. Let's go look at contacts for a second. Notice that there are a lot of contacts in our database. Just by clicking on it, I always get the list view of contact records. So in any case, I can scroll and look through the contact records. I can, at the bottom right, get a total count of how many records I have. I've got 288. I'm kind of displaying 40 at a time here, which is kind of customizable. You can decide how many you want to display at any given time. I can use this arrow at the bottom to move to the right and find different people. But ultimately, that's not really a great way to look up anybody if you're trying to look through a database. This is a relatively small database, but if you have thousands and thousands, this would be very difficult to find. So you want to look at this search bar in the upper right of the screen. All you have to do is enter any word there. I'm just going to enter the word great and press enter. When I go to look at the results, I can see that I have accounts with different words, that Great Atlantic, Great Northern. I can see contacts with somewhere in their record there is something great. For instance, James and Tommy and Lewis here have great in their email address. Some other way, these other contacts are in some way related to great. I don't know exactly how. Here's an event. Here are notes that it contain the word great in some way. So like for instance, this one I can say, met Lance at the Country Club Christmas party. He would be a great client for us. So I'm just going to close that. So it finds the information that you want. If I wanted to, for instance, look at Great Northern Railroad, this is an account record. Notice that when I go here, I can see, if I scroll, I can see notes. For this account, I can see that we have quite a few contact records that are related to this account as well. So if in particular I want to look at one particular record, I might look at Tommy Morgan. In particular, I can see some information about him, look to see if there are any notes. If he wasn't the person I wanted, I can easily go back to the account to see more, just look for more records that might meet my criteria. Notice the fields that are maintained on the account record. In particular, we have the website information. We have the ability for this account to belong to a parent account. So if there was a holding company, we could identify it here. You could have internal account numbers, industries, annual revenue, different kinds of pieces of information that may be important to you or may not be important to you. If I want to go back and look at the record I was just looking at, but I can't remember who I picked, notice over here at the left, there's this little clock. If I click on it, it pops out and I can see that it was Tommy Morgan that I had looked up. I can easily go back to that record and see information about Tommy. There's different pieces of information on the contact record than the account, and for that matter from the lead record, because as you know more about the contact, you'll have more pieces of information you can fill in. In this particular case, we wanted to know what's their bank association, where did they go to school, are they a key influencer. Notice that he is considered a prospect, even though his account is Great Northern. Again, Great Northern is just the company that Tommy works for. Let's go back though to the leads and look at Lance. Again, I can go here and look up leads and look up Lance, or I can go back over here and locate Lance, or I could type it up here in the top area. There's lots of ways to move around in Zoho that make it very easy. In this case, I'm going to click on his name, Lance Parks, and pull him up into the detail view. Once I've decided that it's time for him to move on, I could easily move him forward. Every field value that we have here, including all of the notes that we've taken on him, will automatically also be converted into the contact and the account. Before we do that, notice, however, that we have quick actions at the right. I could add a task, something to do for him. I could add an event, something that goes on the calendar, or I could add a call. Let's convert Lance very quickly. Notice it says create new account and create new contact. I can create a potential at the same time. Let's do that. He has a new facility. I always like to put a few more things here to remind me of what the potential concerns. He's going to make a decision by the end of the quarter. And the potential stage, we've passed the qualification stage and I'm in the needs analysis stage. He is the decision maker. And I don't know what the amount is, so I'm just going to leave that blank. I will continue to be the owner of the record, so I'm going to convert. Now it says, what do you want to do now? Do you want to go to the account? Do you want to go to the contact record because he's here? Do you want to go to the potential to fill out more things? Or do you want to just go back to leads? I'm going to go back to leads to show you that he's not there anymore. Once a lead is converted, it goes to the contact record. So I can go here to contacts and I can try and find him, or I can just type in Lance and say I can't remember his last name. Any part of his name will be fine. Once I click on him, it just says, gee, he's been promoted. It's going to go to contact. Very shortly, it will automatically be converted and you'll always see him here. Notice all of the fields came forward. All of the notes came forward. However, even now I have a potential that's also there. The planned activities, everything moved with the record and stayed intact. If I want to go look at the potential in the pipeline, I can just click on it. I can add more pieces of information, like what I'm thinking about the next steps might be in closing this. I might change the stage of the activity to IDing other decision makers, it's very easy to move around. I might finally add a value of $50,000. No commas or periods, please. It'll automatically add those. Notice if I scroll down, I can see still open activities, even though the activity is not necessarily related to the opportunity or the potential. It's really nice to be able to see pieces of information right here in the contact record. In the potential record. Easy to move back to Yellow Jersey or go to Lance's record. However I want to move, it's easy to click on just some of the hyperlinks. I can see that the company, the account, has a potential and it has one related contact. I can click on Lance to continue to his record. I hope you can see that it's pretty easy to move around in Zoho just by clicking in different areas. Also notice that in the upper left corner there are views that you can use to filter the contacts. For instance, I have only my contacts versus contacts that belong to Candace or UR in the record. So if I click this, I have 281 contacts. I might look at how many were new from last week. I might look at how many are new from this week. I don't think I have any. I have 2 because Lance, I got promoted. So it's very easy to look at different views just by selecting the drop down. Each of the views is restricts which contacts or which records display and also which fields display. For instance, I don't like the default contact view because it doesn't include the account name. This would be handled for everybody, but notice when I point to the view name, I can click the edit button, and I'm just going to take account name and add it over here to the right, move it right up, right next to the person's name. And I also want to see the contact owner, who in the company put that record or owns that record. Maybe that's all, just those fields. I'm going to click save. Now look at how so much more useful this view is. I can see not only the name of the person, but the companies at the right. And over here, I can see who's the owner of these records. So I said I wanted to come back to home view. When I come back to home view, then these are actually little dashboards of views. So right here, this is open tasks. This is everybody's open task. If you recall, Candace was going to call Lance regarding the new facility. I don't want to see Candace's. I want to see my tasks. You might want to change some of your dashboards here based on the views you've created. I'm going to click the little edit button here and say, I don't want to see open tasks. I want to see maybe today's tasks, or maybe I want to see my open tasks, which is much better. Usually if I change it, I'll go ahead and change the title so it's the same as well. And I don't need it to take up 2 whole columns. I'm just going to change it down to 1 column and click save. Now I have no open tasks. I don't have any leads today, but I can see what things are closing this month, what things I have by the pipeline. You can play with this just by adding another component right here in the upper right corner. You click on it and say, what module do you want? Well, we were just looking at contacts, so I might say contacts, and I might select something like new this week, and then just say new this week as well. I usually try and name the name as same as the view that I selected, so it's easier to figure out. And while that wouldn't be normally one I would do, it would be an interesting one because I could keep the new people right in front of me to know who I need to call back. So this is just a real quick overview of what's going on. There are lots of things and places that you can look in Zoho to help you know more and more. Like for instance, when you see these little red things that come up, go click on it and see what it is. This little alert tells you how many, who's been working in Zoho and what they've done with your records. I can easily scroll through. As soon as I click off of it, it just tells me that I have gotten everything up to date. You can also look at the feeds area. The feeds area is a great way to find out who's been entering what or doing what in the database. I can see Bill, me, entered a new potential today. If I continue to scroll, I can see that Candace had some things, had some comments to make. You can categorize your things over here. For instance, we have a trade show coming up, so it's a good way for us to share thoughts about the trade show. Candace said she sent in the registration forms, and I reminded her that she needs to let you know the dates for the website. They're just notes to send back and forth to each other to keep each other up to date. We sent check today. So once I post that, that'll be something that Candace can look in and notice that we've done something, and she can make a comment on it. I hope you have enjoyed this very, very quick overview, and I hope it helps you to better understand some of the words and how they're used in Zoho and how you can use Zoho more effectively in your business.